Hi, welcome to the Review Tuesday. I'm reviewing Netflix's original film, Cargo. Okay, so Cargo is based on a 7-minute short film that aired in 2013. And now the same directors, Yolanda Ramke and Ben Howling, are directing this feature film. Cargo is basically about two stories intertwining. So one, you've got Martin Freeman, who plays Andy, and he is on this journey to try and protect his daughter, who he's got on his back for most of the film, from a world that's now post-apocalyptic in nature. It's set in the outbacks of Australia, in South Australia, and there's a virus, a massive pandemic that has swept over the world. We think it's definitely in Australia. And then on the other side, you've got this Aboriginal young girl, a character's named Toomey, and she is trying to protect her father's soul. And what happens is these two stories intertwine and intersect. I have to say, this is quite an original take on this type of film. It is a zombie type film, but very loosely. It's so different and unique to the stories that we usually get for zombie films. It's quite simply brilliant. Okay, so let's talk about tension. So in a zombie film, how do you create tension? So you need to establish constant threat, and I personally imagine that that'd be quite hard to do in the vast open spaces of Australia, because there's so many places to go. It's wide and open, you can see everywhere. So what the camera techniques does in this film is that they show you shots of wide open, the vastness and the beauty, and it's so stunning. The cinematography in this is great. But then when there is threat, they're always very close to the characters, and it makes you want the cameraman to go wider, so you can, as if you could somehow help the characters escape. If you can see for them, you can kind of warn them. That's a very clever technique to have in a tension film. So in this world, you get a bracelet that you can put around your arm, and from the moment that you're infected, you have 48 hours to survive. That's the maximum amount of time you can survive until something happens, until the virus takes over from you. And so that adds just another level of tension, which is a fantastic technique. You are thrust into a world where you don't know any of the rules, you don't know anything that's happened. The storytellers just expect you to kind of adapt to what's happening in this world.
What's this?
Like every zombie film has its own set of rules, and what happens when you get bit, what happens when you get scratched. But this whole kind of post-apocalyptic Australia world, we know nothing about, except for what the film reveals to you in small increments. And I think that's really great. Rather than kind of doing this whole monologue at the beginning of the film and kind of setting up the whole world for you, you're just thrust into it. And this works so well. So those three things together create a film so full of tension that even though there's wide open spaces, the shots are close. You don't know what's happening in it, and there's a time element. Like films like Crank and 127 Hours work so well because you've got that heightened sense of attention always. Even when there's nothing happening on screen, you're still going, oh, your time is running out. And this works so well. I have to say that Martin Freeman, for me, is an underrated actor. I've always loved his work, but you don't often get to see him play the main role. I've recently seen him in the film Ghost Stories, which was great, but still he isn't really the main protagonist. And you've seen him in Sherlock and other great series and films, even like the Marvel films. But here he really gets to shine and show why he's such an adaptive actor. I really class him as a chameleon, because it feels like every character he plays, he kind of really puts on that character well. He adapts to that character. And they did say on set that every take in this film, he changed. So if they had to do a new take, he didn't do the same thing. He changed it because he was always trying to adapt and create the character to make it the best it can be. And I think what you see in this film is a character that's so at turmoil in this world that it works so well. What I really loved about his character is that he isn't the hero. He is just like an everyday man, an everyday father trying to survive in this world. He doesn't know the rules. He's a British guy in Australia. He's definitely fish out of water. And then he meets up with Toomey, who becomes... They have this conflicted relationship at first, and that relationship develops. And he ends up having to protect this girl, and she protects him. And so you have this weird kind of broken family, not a real family, but this kind of broken relationship family trying to survive the disease. The cinematography is fantastic. Obviously, Australia has an amazing setting, but it is beautiful and really well done. And I think that the story and the cinematography work so well together because of the actors they've chosen and the story they've developed so well over time. So the 7-minute story, they had a basis to work on and develop it into a major feature. And now we have this fantastic high tension film. It surprised me at how good this was. At the end, I looked over to my wife and thought, wow, what was that? Like, I didn't expect it to be that good. I watched it because Martin Freeman's in it. I knew nothing about the directors. I would suggest don't watch the 7-minute short film that's on YouTube until you've seen this film, because it does give quite a few spoilers. So when this comes out on Netflix, I urge you to watch this if you can. I think it's out in like the middle of May. I hope you found this review informative. I didn't want to go too much into other things because I really wanted you to feel the new take, the new elements of what they do with the zombie film. Just when you thought the zombie genre was dead, like they've done it to death, there's nothing new under the sun, the things they do with this is really quite fresh. This film is going to go in our Gorsome section for Great and Awesome, and I would give this 5 out of 5. Thanks for watching my review of Cargo. Live long and Tuesday.